What's going on, guys? It is me, Tyson the Trainer. Obviously, I always say this, back with another podcast for you. Now, hope you guys are doing well. Hopefully things have been going well for you. Doing what you need to do, looking after yourself, all those good things. My sleep has been terrible at the moment. So that's one thing I've been trying to do to look after myself a little bit more. And I'm doing all the right things, which is even more annoying. I'm doubling down on getting some good sleep hygiene and my body just does not want to sleep. But what do? We try and make the best of the situation that we can, right? But I'm not here to talk to you about sleep today or about my sleep problems. I am here to talk to you about the scale. Yes, that is right. Talking to you guys about the scale because it just keeps coming up over and over again. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to blast a podcast out and just cover everything you guys need to consider about the scale. Why it doesn't fucking matter. How to actually use it properly. How to get rid of it if it's not serving you. And just everything else. Because it is like, it interests me so much the way that people let the scale affect them. You know, like it actually, it's quite surprising with how people still feel about the scale. Even when we look at all the other data, people still get fucking hung up on that number, you know? So just for a perfect example, I've got a client, she's been with me for nearly a year, 11 months now, right? As I'm talking to you, I'm gonna pull this up just so I'm not speaking shit and actually telling you guys. So she's been with me for 11 months and her scale weight has only moved by 5 kilos. She started with me at 66.2 and she is now 61.4, okay? So she started with me at 67.1. So basically 5.5 kilos down, okay, in a year. Now, let me ask you, would you be frustrated with only 5 kilos lost in a year? That's like that's less than half a kilo a month. Would that upset you? Okay, you're probably thinking yes. What about this? What about if that weight was only 5 kilos difference, but you lost 15 centimeters around your waist, you lost 3 centimeters around your arms, you lost 9 centimeters around your legs, you lost 8 centimeters around your glutes, and you lost 15 centimeters around your chest. So she's lost 15 around the waist, 15 around the chest, which is 30. She's lost 9 around the thighs, which is 39. She's lost 8 around the glutes. Sorry, not 9. 8 around the glutes. So what's that? 39 plus 8. 47 centimeters, okay? Would you be upset if you lost 47 centimeters off your whole body? Get a ruler out and look at 47 centimeters. You are going to look like a completely different person. Yet, everyone fucking focusing on that scale weight would only be, like, if we didn't take measurements and you looked at the scale weight, you'd be like, I can't believe I've only lost 5.5 kilos in a year. I feel like I'm failing. I'm not doing anything right. And, you know, I had to have a conversation with this client because she was getting upset about the scale weight. And I'm like, look how much you've changed. 47 centimeters. That is fucking huge, you know? Like 47 centimeters is nothing to be like, oh, well, you know, it's only this amount. It's only a small amount. It's 47 centimeters. It's 15 off your waist and your chest. Think about 30 centimeters total off your torso, right? Especially if you're a 66 kilo person starting off with, that's a huge difference. And so this is why I need you guys to start to fucking understand it's not about scale. Because again, you could be like this person. She's a little bit frustrated, but it's like 47 centimeters, man. Like that is amazing. That is absolutely fantastic. And like she looks like a completely different person, but people get so caught up in the scale. So this is why we never rely just on scale weight to determine whether you're making progress or not. Because again, you could be someone who's only been using your weight and you could be like, oh, nothing's changed. I'm so frustrated because you've missed out on fucking more important data than the scale. All right. So this is what I want to kind of touch on. So let's talk about scale fluctuations. Because I think this is the biggest thing that really fucks with people's head. It is entirely normal for the scale to fluctuate every fucking day. Every day, it is entirely normal for the scale to fluctuate. How much should the scale fluctuate? Couldn't tell you. Everyone's different. You might do a kilo, you might be 2, might be 3. The heavier you are, the more your weight can fluctuate. For me, my weight can fluctuate 2.5 to 3 kilos within a day. No, like without even batting an eye, you know? So first we have to accept that fluctuations are normal, okay? This is why we do not use a daily scale weight to indicate our progress or not. You never use one day of scale weight to indicate whether you're making progress or not, because you cannot control the variables, all right? Get this through your head. You cannot control the variables. You cannot control what the scale weight is going to say on any day. That is not within your control, ever. Okay? I had a client message me the other day. I've been doing so good, Tyson. I've been sticking to everything you've said. You know, her weight was going down every week, ticking down, ticking down, ticking down. Tyson, my weight's been just the craziest jump this morning. I don't know what's happened. I've been eating what you're telling me to do. I've been doing my steps. I've been doing my training. Nothing's changed. I promise I've been on track. My scale's just jumped up. And I replied to her, I was like, so? And she's like, what do you think it is? I'm like, does it matter? Because I'm trying to make her also think about this. Like, if you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, okay? Like, I want you guys to actually consider this. You step on the scale. Last week, you lost weight. The week before, you lost weight. The week before that, you lost weight. You're doing the exact same thing every single week. It's now Wednesday. You step on the scale. The scale's gone up. Why? Why did the scale go up today? Who knows? Like you have no idea. And people try and guess, you know, coaches will tell you, oh, well, you know, yeah, it could be more sodium. It could be more carbohydrates. It could be more. Honestly, there are so many variables that come to scale weight that it's not even worth trying to mentally problem solve what it was, all right? Sweat rate, hydration status, 2 different things. You can be sweating more than usual and still be hydrated, or you can be dehydrated, right? So sweat rate, hydration status, the time you ate, the stress you had, the amount of sleep you had, how restful your sleep was, how hard you exercised yesterday, were you in a normal environment, were you in a hotter environment, were you in a colder environment, did you do anything yesterday that was different, did you do an extra 1,000 steps, did you put your body more under stress than usual, did you have more DOMs than usual yesterday, is it a deload week, you know, did you run after your kids more than usual, was the aircon busted in the car and you were sweating more, were you sitting down for longer periods of time and you were more active towards the end of the day compared to what you're usually doing? Are you on your menstrual cycle? Is it a week after your menstrual cycle? It is a week before your menstrual cycle. Did you actually have more sodium? Did you actually have more carbohydrates? Did you have a higher amount of volume of food? Did you have a lower amount of volume of food? You know, did you eat regularly, or did you maybe save all your calories for the evening because you were flat out? Did you drink an extra bottle of Pepsi Max that you don't usually drink? You know, did you not take a shit this morning like you usually did? There are so many variables that can contribute to scale weight that you cannot anyway guesstimate why that scale weight has gone up, down, sideways, or whatever. So do not even bother trying to mentally calculate why the scale weight could be up, okay? The scale weight will fluctuate daily. Accept that. Accept that you don't know what is contributing to that fluctuation, okay? We do not live in an isolated chamber like this room that I'm sitting in right now. I am not sitting in this room 24/7 with a controlled environment, with the temperature being the exact same, sleeping in this room, exercising in this room, knowing exactly how many calories I'm burning, keeping my sweat rate consistent, keeping my food exactly the same. We don't control all of that shit, all right? This is why scale fluctuates. It's normal, okay? And again, everyone's gonna fluctuate differently. I tend to hold a lot more water. If I have a higher sodium, higher carbohydrate, higher calorie meal, I will sit scale weight higher for about 10 to 12 days. I just know exactly how my body goes, all right? Last week we went out to Japanese barbecue, lots of sodium. Guess what? I was 95.6, 95 points. I didn't drop below 95. I didn't get back to 93 until 10 days later. Did I stress? No. What did I do? Did exactly what I needed to do. Did my steps, ate my food, did my training. Because guess what? That's what I can control. I couldn't control anything else, okay? So what I'm trying to get you guys to understand is that you focus on what you can control, and also not using the scale daily fluctuations as any indication of whether you're making progress or not, all right? So first, let's work on just how to address these daily fluctuations. We accept they're daily fluctuations. You can't do anything about it. All you're going to do is you're going to record that daily weight, all right? You take a shit or a piss, you go to the bathroom, get on the scale, weigh yourself once. You do not weigh yourself at any other time of the day. I don't want you to weigh yourself after you go to the gym. I don't want you to weigh yourself after you go for a run. I don't want you to weigh yourself at 8 o'clock at night before you go to bed and see what your weight's going to be. I don't want you to weigh yourself any other time because, again, we're trying to minimize the variables. And the way you minimize the variables is you weigh yourself on an empty stomach at the same time of day every single day. If you don't go to the bathroom first thing in the morning, well then guess what? Weigh yourself not going to the bathroom. Because if you consistently don't go to the bathroom, then it's going to be a consistent, relative accuracy. All right? There's no point being like, usually I wait 2 hours after, and then I have a coffee, and then I have my meal, and then I go to the bathroom. Don't do that. Just weigh yourself the first thing in the morning based on whether you go to the bathroom or not, okay? You write down that scale weight. That's your scale weight going forwards. You know what that scale weight is? It's just a number. If it's up, if it's down, it doesn't decide anything. You continue to take your scale weight every day if you want, or you take it a few times a week. It doesn't matter how many times you take it. But what we're looking for is an average weekly scale weight, okay? The way we calculate our averages, again, just for those of you that forget, you add up the number of times you weigh yourself. So let's say you weigh yourself 5 times this week. You add up those 5 numbers, you divide it by 5. You weigh yourself 7 times, you add up those numbers, you divide it by 7. That will tell you your daily average, okay? You're then going to keep that daily average. You're then going to do the same thing next week. You're then going to look at the second daily average, the second weekly average, I should say, sorry, not daily average. You're going to look at the second weekly average and compare it to the first weekly average. Are you making progress or are you not making progress? If your goal is to maintain weight, you give yourself a range of 2 kilos up and down, okay? If, let's say, you're 66 kilos, if the scale jumps up between 66 and 68, you're sweet. If it jumps down between 66 and 64, whatever. Give yourself a swing of like 2 kilos either side. Obviously, if you're a little bit heavier, 100 plus, it might fluctuate 3 kilos either way. It doesn't matter. What we're trying to get here is establishing averages and seeing where they're at, all right? If you're at maintenance, obviously those fluctuations are going to be, they're just part of the daily thing, and give yourself that range because your weight will still fluctuate at maintenance calories and it's going to jump up and down and you might be like, oh, I'm gaining weight, I'm going to restrict my calories. No. If it continues to go up above that 2 kilo mark on the averages, so if it goes like, you weigh yourself and you're 66 on the first average, the second average is 67, let's say, and you're like, oh no, wait until your third lot of averages and it might come back down to 66. If it's fine, good. If it starts going to 68 and it's actually continuously creeping up, then you might be eating too much or might be not doing enough exercise, whatever it is. If it's coming back down and it's sitting between 66 and 68 consistently, you're okay. That's what maintenance is. It's not a fucking, I'm going to be 66 for the rest of my life and that's all it is. It doesn't happen like that, right? If you're in a deficit, you use the averages each week. Is it trending down? Okay? Each week, the average, if it's trending down, you're on the right track. Oh, but it only went down by 150 grams or 200 grams. Guess what? That's still a fucking deficit, all right? You're still trending down. Now, here's the thing. That just gives you a ballpark estimate as to whether you're trending up or down, right? It's not exact. It's not giving you accurate data compared to measurements. We're just trying to go off we're just getting some rough data here, okay? So use your averages to determine whether you're moving in the right direction or not. Give yourself that leeway. If you're at maintenance, that's fine, all right? If you're in a gaining phase, obviously you want to see the averages consistently going up. Cool? Hopefully that gives you guys just a bit of understanding. So, instead of thinking about what has affected my scale weight today, what could be causing me to be heavier, what did I do yesterday? Think about three types of questions. Did I do my steps yesterday with what I'm supposed to do? Did I eat the food I was supposed to eat yesterday in regards to, whether you're tracking your calories or whether, you intuitively, I'm not going to say intuitively eating, you're eating without tracking, but roughly the same. Did I do my workout yesterday? Okay. If the answer is yes, yes, and yes, then you don't need to worry about anything. Okay. If the answer was yes, did my steps, yes, did my nutrition, don't worry about anything. All right. If the answer was no, my nutrition was off and I ate more shit, well then obviously that's an issue. If the answer was no, I ate less than I usually would, why is the scale up? Who gives a fuck? Like, can you actually think, oh, I ate less yesterday, I still did my steps in my training, but the scale's up. How did I gain body fat? How did that happen? I wonder what happened. Like, where, how? You don't defy, you're not defying thermodynamics, basically, all right? Like, and again, who cares? Stop trying to figure out what could possibly be this underarching thing that's causing the weight to fluctuate. Like, oh, how did my weight go up if I underate? Who knows? Who knows? Who cares? It doesn't matter. Stop mentally taxing yourself, obsessing about the scale, okay? Because again, you can't control what the scale will say. You can only control your actions. Your actions on a daily basis when it comes to steps, nutrition, and training. All right? And that's every day you ask yourself that if you're freaking out. If you're like, oh man, the scale's gone up again. Did I eat my food I was supposed to yesterday? Yes. Did I do my steps that I was supposed to yesterday? Yes. Okay, cool. Did you do your training? Yeah, sweet. Okay. That's it. That's your questions that you ask yourself because they're the controllables. Did I eat more carbohydrates yesterday? Did I have more sodium yesterday? Did I sweat more yesterday? Are you gonna what? Are you gonna write all these down and try and fucking brainstorm? And what? To rationalize to yourself why your scale weight went up? And then what? You spent 45 minutes, an hour, all day obsessing about the different scale weight when you're finally like, oh, you know what? I had 200 milligrams of sodium extra yesterday. That's why. Oh, I can relax now. Like you let your whole day or a certain amount of time be consumed because the scale weight was saying something and you let that dictate your whole day. You let it make you feel like shit. You let it obsess. You let it take up your mind. You let it, scare you or whatever it is. And it's like, just get on with it. Just fucking get on with it. Right? And so if you question yourself and you're doing the things that you need to do, okay, and you're looking at scale averages, that's all you need for the data for that. And that's what you focus on. You focus on what you can control, what you can't control. Okay? Because then guess what? Another thing, your menstrual cycle. Now, everyone's weight shifts differently around their menstrual cycle. Some people's weight goes up earlier, like the week before their menstrual cycle. It jumps up. Some females' weights jump up the week of their period. So it's like, you got two different things. Just learn to understand your body, all right? And if you know it's going to jump up and it fucks with your head, don't weigh yourself. Like, this is what I also don't understand. Like, people are like, oh man, my period's coming, my weight's up, I'm so annoyed. What else do you think's going to happen? Like, I'm sure you've gotten your menstrual cycle before and you've weighed yourself before and you know your weight goes up at a certain time. What else is going to happen? Right? And like weight increase when you're around your menstrual cycle is a good thing. It means you are healthy. It means your hormones are doing what they need to do in regards to regulating you. All right? Good sign. So don't get upset when the scale weight jumps up on your menstrual cycle. It's jumping up because it's your menstrual cycle. Accept it. If you don't want to weigh yourself, don't weigh yourself. If you want to weigh yourself, do not compare. Now, this is the important thing. Do not compare that average to last week's average. If you're like, oh, I gained a kilo this week in average scale weight. Yes, obviously, like fucking hell. It actually blows me away that people get so tied into the scale or they think they're not making progress the week of their menstrual cycle. And then it's like the week after when there's a whoosh, when all the water comes off. Oh, I'm making progress again. Yes, like fucking oath. It's like, are you serious? Like you're actually letting you think that the 1 week you have your menstrual cycle and your weight has gone up, you think all of a sudden you're not progressing because the scale weight is jumping up because of the water retention. Like, you're letting that determine whether you're successful or not. Do not do that, okay? So if you know, whether it be the week before or the week of, that it's gonna jump up, don't weigh yourself if it fucks with you, or please do not let that determine whether you're making progress or not. You don't compare week 4 compared to week 1 if there's huge differences, all right? What you should actually do, if you want to do anything, compare your weekly average scale weight on your menstrual cycle compared to your other weekly scale average weight of your menstrual cycle, So you could actually pull this up on, have a little data tracker. you compare, let's say like, you got 4 weeks of your phase. You compare week 1 to week 1 last month, week 2 to week 2, week 3 to week 3, week 4 to week 4. If your scale weight is heavier, always on week 3 on both your menstrual cycle, through both your phases, and your week 3 average from last month is now, your week 3 average from this month is less than last month, then you're on the right track, okay? But again, it might make you retain more water for some reason. It doesn't matter. So don't let that fuck with the numbers either, okay? And then don't get upset if the week after you get a big whoosh effect. Let's say you lose 1.5 kilos, and the week after you only lose 0.5 kilo, and you're like, oh man, my progress has slowed down again. Like, you guys can't, sorry, I should actually say you guys, you females, you can't let yourself do that, okay? You can't get mind fucked with the scale, because it's very easy to do, but it's not helpful at all right? And so, yeah, this is why it's a piece of data. It's just data. It's just a reflection of how you weigh today, and you can't do anything about that, all right? Again, all you can focus on is what you can control. The food you eat, the movement you do, and that's it, basically, all right? And this is also a good checklist. You step on the scale, it's up today. You're like, oh, fuck. Okay, did I hit my steps yesterday? Yes. Did I eat the food I was supposed to yesterday? Yes. Tyson told me not to worry about it. I'm going to get on with it. And the more you do that, the less you start to fucking just be obsessed with the scales, basically. Now, if you're someone who is just it emotionally fucked with your head every time you jump on the scale, if it hasn't gone down and it like just ruins you, don't ever weigh yourself. Just go throw the scale out, okay? Oh, but how am I supposed to know if I'm making progress? Oh, what am I supposed to do? Well, you got heaps of ways to actually track if you're making progress or not. But it's like, you have this unhealthy relationship with the scale. You let it mess with your head. You let it make you feel upset. You let it make you hate yourself. You let it affect basically every bit of you, and it really gets to you. But you can't throw it out because you need to use that as your progress. Nah, don't do that shit, all right? There's nothing, you can make progress, you can determine progress, you can track progress, you can do everything without even worrying about the scale weight. All right. Like, out of all accuracies with data, it's the most inaccurate with data. Okay. Like, again, coming back to this measurements thing, if we just use scale weight, I'd be like, oh, my client only lost 5.5 kilos in this whole year. I mean, look, that's still something, and she's kept it off, which is amazing. But if we didn't do if we didn't do her measurements, man, she wouldn't know that she lost 47 centimeters in total. And in saying that, if we didn't take her weight at all, and we looked at just those measurements, 47 centimeters is massive, right? So like on the order of like what I think of like is progress, like what's worth tracking, measurements are first, progress photos are second, scale weight's last. All right, let me say that again. Measurements are first, photos are second, scale is last, and they're just on the data sources that we're tracking in order to see if things are trending down. I look more around the process in regards to, are they eating better? Are they ticking off their daily habits? Are they feeling better? Are they sleeping better? Is their lifestyle better? Because for me, if someone doesn't get a huge body change during the time of the coaching, I don't give a fuck. Because guess what? If they can continue on without me, if they're like, oh, it's been 4 months, I've only lost 3.5 kilos with Tyson. I've only lost 4 kilos with Tyson, but I can't afford it anymore. I'm going to go do my own thing. And then 6 months later, when I get a message from someone, hey, still following exactly what you taught me. I've been able to stick to my diet. I've lost another 4.5 kilos. I've been able to keep it up, keep it off. I'm eating better. I'm doing all these things. That is the win for me. That is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to teach people to become autonomous for the rest of their life. I'm not here to get people instant, quick results, right? I'm here to give them results for life, okay? So this is a quick pitch for me. If you are wanting to get results, not super fast results in the short term, but get results and keep them for the rest of your life and continue so you can continuously make progress, keep the weight off, make it sustainable, then message me about online coaching. All right? Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to not use these stupid things as data and progress, and show you what actual progress is, how to make lifestyle changes, and how to keep things in that you want to keep in, how to change your black and white mentality, how to understand what progress is, and the most important thing, how to teach you to do this for the rest of your life without me. I want to be the last coach you ever have, right? So if you do struggle with this stuff, message me and let's talk about the coaching, because my goal isn't to get you instant results, is to make you get results and keep them for the rest of your life, and also do it without me. All right. So send me a message if you are interested in the coaching. There's my pitch. But in saying that, talking about the whole data thing again, measurements, photos, and then scale weight. Okay. And if you continuously are letting the scale weight get you down, do not weigh yourself. Right. You do not need to use the scales, because I don't understand how people don't consider this progress. If you were just doing measurements only, okay, your measurements each week are dropping down. You're like, oh, I don't know if I'm making progress. Your clothing size has now dropped down by, from a whatever it is, your clothing size, whatever you are, you drop down by the next clothing size. Like, are you going to wonder if you're making progress? Are you going to wonder if you're losing fat? Are you going to wonder? You're buying new clothing sizes. Like, what the fuck do you think? Obviously, you're making progress. Like, your clothes are fitting better. It's less restraint around your arms. The tops are fitting better. You're fitting into old clothes you didn't fit into before. It's not a question of like, well, I'm not weighing myself though, so I don't know if I'm making progress. You obviously are. Like, it blows me away that people can't see that, So please do not get caught up in the scale, and instead start to use measurements more. Start to use your progress photos more. Start to understand what tracking measurements and things like that will actually do for you and how they're going to benefit you versus thinking that you're not making progress. Because again, it's just the scale is just a number on the fucking digital thing that you're stepping on every day that you don't have control over, right? And I'm just trying to give you guys to, change your mindset, because again, it's just data. It's just a simple piece of data that's the least accurate data out of everything. Okay. So just to reiterate, use the data. If you're going to use a scale, use it as a weekly average. Never worry about a daily average. Okay. Do not rack your brain trying to think about what could possibly have made my weight go up. You heard me list those up before. They were just things that I didn't even I wasn't even pausing to think. I was just listing things off that were coming up in my head because they're only some of the reasons. Some, not all of the reasons. So there's no point of you trying to rack your brain, let it consume you all day, why your weight might be up. Instead, you reflect on the questions. Did I eat the food I'm supposed to eat yesterday? Did I do the activity I was supposed to do yesterday? Okay? Yes and yes, you're sweet. What if you're like, oh no, I didn't eat the food yesterday, I actually overate? Well then, obviously the scale's gone up. Did you gain body fat in one day? No. Get back on track. Keep on what you're supposed to be doing, okay? It's never about one day, okay? It's never about one day. You're not going to gain 4 kilos of fat in one day. You're not going to gain a kilo of fat in one day. You might be heavier. It might take a few days for it to drop down. But let's say you said, oh, fuck, man, I overate yesterday, man, that was really bad. Obviously, my scale weight's going to be up. If you overeat and you step on the scale the next day and you're like, oh, I've just undone 3 weeks of hard work, my scale weight's gone back up. Let me just ask you a question. What did you think was going to happen when you stood on the scale this morning? Did you think it was only going to be up slightly? Did you think it wasn't going to be up at all? What did you actually think? Because now you're fucking breaking down. Oh man, 3 weeks of progress just ruined because I overate 300 calories last night. God forbid you overate 1,000 calories last night. Oh, my progress is ruined. If you think that one day is going to undo 3 to 4 weeks of all the fucking effort you've put in, I don't know what to tell you. You honestly, just do some math. Figure it out that it didn't happen like that. Use some logic, literally. Step back and be like, okay, I overate last night. I overate by 1,000 calories. I overate by 1,000 calories. Okay. Has that undone my 3 weeks of progress? I've been losing half a kilo a week every week, which means I'm in a 500 calorie deficit, which is a 3,500 calorie deficit a week. And now today I ate over 1,000 calories. Guess what? You only took away 2 days of a deficit. What if you did 3,500 calories yesterday? You only undid 4 to 5 days of dieting, all right? And when we say undid, it doesn't mean you have to go catch up or anything like that. It just means that you just keep moving forwards. And obviously your scale weight's going to be up for a few days. Okay? Just like when you start dieting, it takes time for the scale to drop, consistently dropping down. When you overeat and you've eaten more carbs, more sodium, you didn't move as much, you ate way more food, you got more food volume, it's just going to take a while for the body to digest. And you know what's funny? Every time a client overeats and they freak out about this and they're like, I've ruined all my weekly, I've ruined the last 3 weeks of progress. I'm like, all right, let's get you back on track today. Let's stick to it. Then by the end of the week, surprise, surprise, by the end of the week, they've come down. Usually they go back to their body weight that they were the week before. Sometimes because they just get back on track, they actually continue to lose body weight and it might be another 200 grams compared to 500 grams. And it's like, surprise. Everyone's like, oh, I don't know what I was freaking out about. Oh, thankfully, it's like, man, like again, the scale weight's just some fucking numbers. And there's so many things that are going to cause it to bounce up. And of course, when you're dieting, when you eat some more food, it's going to jump up. So before you drop dead and you start freaking out and you start fucking crying and you act like a child and you jump up and down having a tantrum and you're like, I did 3 weeks of my fucking work. I hate this. This is so hard. Just get back on track if you did overeat. All right? So you ask yourself those questions. Did I do my steps? Did I eat the calories? And then potentially, did I train too? If it's yes to all those, you just keep doing what you're doing. Then you look at your averages each week, okay? But you use this as your last data source. You do your measurements, you do your photos, then you check your weekly average scale, okay? That's basically all you guys need to think about, right? And the biggest thing is, again, if it fucks with your head, don't weigh yourself. Do not weigh yourself. You have plenty of other ways to know if you're on track. More accurate ways to know if you're on track more than anything. Use those as your guiding light, okay? Please, just start to use the scale as data and do not let it emotionally tie to your feelings, to your self-worth or anything, because you are more than just the scale weight. All right. None of your friends are going to be like, Tyson's 2 kilos up this week. I'm not going to be friends with him. What a dick. Fuck, man. I only liked him because he was 2 kilos lighter. Not going to happen. All right. People like you because of who you are. People like you because you make them feel good. People might like you because you're funny. People might like you because of your attitude. You ever consider people might like you for everything else except for your scale weight? Like, how many people would be like, you know what? I was really thinking about giving up our friendship, but I'm so glad you lost 3.5 kilos, mate. Like, fuck. It was on the fence there. Like, I was like, man, this guy, he's just 3 kilos heavier. He's just such a good bloke, but those 3 kilos, they're really fucking just, I don't know. I don't like him because of that. No one's done that, Now, you might be someone who wasn't taking care of your health, and people are like, hey, you need to look after yourself, otherwise you're going to die, and I don't want to support that. Different story. But no one's judging you because you're 5 kilos, 7 kilos heavier than you should be and you want to lose it. People like you because of who you are, okay? Unless you lose all the weight and you become a dick, then people aren't going to like you. And then that's like how ironic that you wanted to lose weight and everyone's going to love me, I'm going to have so many friends, and then you end up becoming a dick because you lost so much weight and you had the holier than thou, which we don't want to be either, okay? But please, just do not have the emotional tie to the scale. That's it. I hope this podcast was helpful. I hope it helped change your mindset a little bit. If you enjoyed this podcast, if you think it's helpful, please share it on Instagram, tag me, and if you have time, leave me a review. I would love for you to help me reach more people. But honestly, I appreciate you guys as always for listening. So until next time, my friends, I will speak to you then.